Hello students, welcome to another lesson. So today in this lesson I shall discuss one poem. The name of this poem is Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda born in the year of 1904 and he died in the year of 1973. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year of 1971. In this poem, Neruda talks about the necessity of quiet introspection and creating a feeling of mutual understanding among human beings. So this is about our poet Pablo Neruda. Now let's see the introductions to the lesson. The poem Keeping Quiet, written by Pablo Neruda, discusses the need of maintaining peace and silence. He stresses upon being quiet and harmless to the human beings, animals, and environment. He suggests that in order to maintain peace and harmony, it is required to stop and introspect ourselves. So this is about the introductions to the lesson. Okay, now we shall move forwards to our first stanza. So I have divided this poem into 5 stanza. So I shall discuss one by one. So let's see the first stanza. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. So in the first stanza, the poet asks everyone to count up to 12 in their mind. So the number 12 represents maybe the hours of the day or the months of a year or maybe the 12 zodiac signs that defines our destiny. Point number 2, he wants all of us to be calm and still. Point number 3, people across the nation have to unite together. So they shall not speak their own language, rather they all shall keep quiet and speak the language of silence. Next point, this will bring unity among all the humans on the face of the earth. And the last and the most important point of this stanza is that for at least one moment no one shall move his arms either to signal or to fight or argue with each other. So now let's see in details. The poet here requests everyone to count till 12 in their mind and to stop for a while. So I have said that maybe this 12 referred to the poet is the 12 hours in the clock or the 12 months in the year or the 12 zodiac sign. He wants everyone to stop and calm down. The poet urges everyone not to speak in any languages. As we all know that there are different languages spoken in different parts of the earth, which sometimes become a barrier in our way for peace. So the poet asks people not to speak. Not only this, he also wants us to keep moving our arms. By using the words arms, he means the weapons which are used by different countries to raise a war against each other. So basically the poet is demanding peace for all of us. So in the first stanza, the poet urging us that we must keep still in one place, not to speak in any language and not to move our arms and not to do any work. So this was the first stanza. Now let's see the second stanza. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hard hands. So in this stanza, the poet is conveying that no one will be in rush. There will be no engines running. Next point, everyone will be calm and quite united with each other in a strange atmosphere. Next point, it will be strange because it has never happened earlier. The point number 4 is no person would be harming any other living being, either for food or to earn his livelihood. All the people who work endlessly will get sometimes to look at their injuries and the damage they have caused to their body. Now let's see in details. Poet says that it would be a rare situation when there will be no engines working. Here he wants to say that if everything comes to stand still, it will be a different moment. It will be a very different moment. If all the engines, like the vehicles or machines, stop, there will be a sudden strangeness, a strange situation, as the world will experience a sudden calmness. People will not be in a rush to achieve material things or after another. Further, the poet says that the fishermen will also stop and not harm whales in the sea. This means that the poet is urging everyone not to harm the animals. Here he gives the example of whales which are being hunted for the purpose of food or trade. He also wants people to climb down so that they can stop and see what they have achieved or lost. For this, he gives the example of the man who gathers salts, whose hands are hurt. Here he wants everyone to stop for a while in order to see and feel their achievements and how much they have lost for the sake of attaining such materialistic things. So basically, the poet is asking us that if we stop for 1 second and if we don't do any work, if we don't speak in any language and if we don't do any work, so that means there will be a sudden strangeness around us. A sudden strangeness will reign around us and people will not run after the materialistic things. We always remain busy to run after the materialistic things. That means we always remain busy to achieve our goals and our aims. So we never get a time to think ourselves. Like the fisherman, the poet is saying that the man gathering salt would look at his hard hands. So the fisherman who is working tirelessly day and night, but they never get time to introspect their work, that they are harming their hands. So if we don't do any work, so that means we will get some times to introspect our work. So this was the second stanza. So now let's see the third stanza. Those who prepare green words, words with gas, words with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. So, in this stanza, the poet wants to convey that the people who exploit the green wealth of nature by deforestation or mining or fishing in the deep seas, and the soldier who use weapons to kill fellow human beings need some time to introspect into the consequences of their actions. They are merely doing their job or following orders. Next point, he wants them to put on new clothes, that to adopt a new approach towards life, and to realize that killing so many people is not a victory. Next point, he wants all of us to be united as one. Consider our enemy to be our brother. Next point, he is promoting brotherhood, peace and unity. So in this stanza, the poet is what? He is promoting brotherhood, peace and unity among human beings. Next point, he does not want us to stop our works, but to take some time and analyze the result of our deeds. So let's see in details. The poet asks everyone to stop those activities which are damaging the environment. Today, all the human beings are making money by damaging the environment with their activities such as mining, deforestation, letting the chemical wastes into rivers, etc. The poet asks us not to do so. He also requests people not to involve in wars, as there is no benefit or achieving such victory in which no one is left alive. He says so because wars and environment damage will lead to no life on earth. Rather, he wants people to adopt a new approach towards life and mankind. He says that you should treat your enemy like brothers and promote peace and harmony in the world. So this was the third stanza. Let's see the next stanza, that means fourth stanza. If we were not single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. So in this stanza, the poet would like to convey us like that all human beings work endlessly with the aim of completing all their tasks. Next point, they are driven by the target of survival and the threat of death. Next, so they are in a mad rush to accomplish all their works. He says that perhaps if they pause for a while, they can appreciate their achievements and their lives would become happier. The last point, he suggests that by keeping quiet, we will be able to understand the true purpose of our life. So now let's see in details. Now the poet wants to clarify to his readers that when he asks them to stop for saying or doing anything, he does not want anyone to become a non-active person. Non-active is a person who remains idle and does not do anything. Here, he simply means that we should stop and see the consequences of our deeds. The poet does not want to see people being killed due to their greed for money and expansions of territories. Further, he says that people are continuously working to achieve their tasks without even thinking about their result. They are in fear of death and therefore want to achieve most of the things before their death. Here he urges them to stop for a while and take some moment to relish or what they have achieved till now. Everyone here is living a life in which he wants to achieve various things one after another. But now the poet says, it is the time to stop and see what has been achieved and should be enjoyed. This will help us skip the sadness which has become so prominent in our lives. The sadness of not enjoying what we have achieved and the greed to the achieve what next is in the least to be achieved. And the last stanza, that means the fifth stanza, perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I will count to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. So now the poet suggests to the human beings that we should learn a lesson from the earth. During the winters, everything freezes and became lifeless. But when season changes and it's the onset of spring season, everything present in the nature such as the tree, birds, river, etc. gets life. So here the poet, by giving the example of nature, wants to say that all the human beings should stop and try to judge their deeds. They can try and make their life better with calmness, peace. Finally, he ends up by saying that now he will count to 12 so that we all may become quiet. Here quiet means to calm down ourselves and move towards the path of peace and harmony. After saying this, he says, I will go. He says so as he has conveyed his message to the people and wants them to be left alone to think about it and work in the direction of peace. So, here is the end of the poem, Keeping Quiet. I hope you people have understood the lesson, the explanation. Thanks for listening me.